like wow. That lady in the red gloves just tipped me a $50 bill tonight when I delivered pizza put to that old warehouse. Biggest tip I ever got so far. Look at it, man, there's a note written
Hey
on it.
Timmy,
Check the
this
front.
is really weird. You better stop by your mom's house and show this note to her. I mean, this might be for real, dude. For real.
Timmy.
man.
Oh, Timmy, this might just be a prank, but it could also be very real. We better call Lieutenant Skitters at the Murgatroyd Police Department and show this $50 bill to him. Then he can look into the matter and see what is happening.
CRZY News Bulletin Alert. This is a CRZY News Bulletin Alert with Humila Sun. A voice recording from the woman claiming to be kidnapped CEO Judy Vincini was provided to the station today, and we will play the voice recording for you now. Viewers are advised that this is serious, mature content, and young viewers may need to
This is
leave the
Judy
room.
Vincini. I am alive and well, but I am being held in a secure place awaiting compliance with a ransom demand that was issued to a certain party earlier today. The instructions that were and will be given must be absolutely followed to the last detail in order to obtain my safe release. That is all for now. Goodbye from Judy Vincini.
Oh, Uncle Frank, what'd you bring that old foot back here for? I asked you to get rid of it. And don't bring it in the house. Don't bring it in the house. Put it out in the backyard or something if you're going to keep it. But don't bring it in the house. I wish you'd throw that old foot away.
Well, now, Aunt Susie, listen to me. When I went out there to the biotech lab, the whole dadgum place was surrounded from half a mile back by the Secret Service and the FBI and the police and I don't know what all. And I wasn't about to go off in there with this foot while they had the place under lockdown like that. Now, I could have thrown this old foot out the window, but it's Flashy's foot. And so we'll just keep it in the backyard and see what happens. And I believe it's grown a little since we got it. It's now full-size foot, and you can see part of her ankle sticking up there, and it's still moving a little bit. So I don't know what's going on with it, but if we just keep it out there in the backyard, it ain't going to hurt you, it ain't going to hurt me, it ain't going to bother nobody. And we live far enough from the neighbors, unless they've got a damn pair of binoculars, they ain't going to see that foot anyway. Now, what we got to hope some wild animal, of course, don't get out there and get a hold of that foot. But imagine it can kick or move or whatever if that was to happen. But anyway, I'll just stick it out in the backyard. I don't think the chickens will mess with it. Hell, they'll probably run from it. Anyhow, I'm going to keep it until all this blows over, and then I might just mail it to the biotech lab anonymously or something. All righty. Thank you.
on earth did you find me here? Have you come to rescue me? Where are you taking me?
Well, to begin with, Mom, I've been following the crazy girl with the long red gloves. You see, I picked up on some things that were said on TV and put two and two together, and I started watching her at the Super Deluxe grocery shopping and coming here to this abandoned warehouse. So it didn't take long once the ransom demand hit the airwaves to figure out that you were here and that she was the one who had you. And so now that she's gone, I'm here and I can get you out of here. It's since you brought me back to life, Mom, I somehow don't see you turning me in. But besides, you're going to be held by me now. You see, I'm going to claim that ransom, and that ransom will create a whole new life for me, a life you never gave me, by the way. I'm sparing you because you are my mom and you brought me into this world, though I really shouldn't spare you. I may or may not spare your kidnapper, this Sharon Cielo. She may be my next victim. But I have a nice place for you to stay. I will just introduce you as a relative to my blind girlfriend, and your accommodations will be quite nice. Nice shower, nice food. But you will be my prisoner until I receive this ransom money. Once I'm successfully out of the country, you'll be released. So yes, Mom, I am your rescuer, but I'm also your new kidnapper. You are now my captive, dear Mommy. It's my intention in a very short period of time to appoint you, reward you generously as head, even more generously when my final plan of global domination goes into place. Reward you generously, it is my intention, even more generously when my final plan of global domination goes into place.
You see, Senator Devane, it is my intention in a very short period of time to appoint you as head of the North American continent once I am head of the international global order. Well, here it is. Home sweet home, Mom. And you, of course, will be able to make yourself at home. It looks like my blind girlfriend, Doreen, is out. She may be blind, but she sure gets around. I can't wait until you meet her, Mom. You're going to love her. She's the first girl I haven't killed. Well, besides you, of course. Mom, I'm going to introduce you to Doreen as my long-lost cousin from Toledo, Elaine. I think that should work very well. As I say, it's my humble abode. It's not the fanciest apartment in the world, but it is nice, private, discreet, shall we say. I'm able to come and go as I please with a certain level of anonymity. It'll be nice keeping you here while I await the ransom money. Doreen's a good little cook. As I say, she might be blind, but boy, can that girl get around. So, Mom, I hope you like it here.
Oh, Eric, you don't have to do this. You don't have to keep me here. Forget about the ransom money. I can have one of my private jets deliver you to a place of safekeeping in Europe. You can take on a new identity and roam about freely. Count Pedestrian has a large castles and mansions all over Europe in various countries. And Count Pedestrian owed my father many favors. He owes me a few favors as well. A simple phone call could arrange all of this.
Mom. Always the boardroom bargainer and wheeler dealer. You never helped me before. Well, I take that back. You did get Dr. Getrick to bring me back to life, after all. Tell you what, I actually liked your proposal, and since I have you as my prisoner, all the cards really are in my hand. Murgatroyd will be extremely hot now. Cops will be all over that warehouse. They're liable to even find and identify Sharon Cielo, your kidnapper. But Sharon by now has probably made a fast getaway. You know what? If I can take you and Doreen with me to Europe, we have a deal, Mom. After all, I need you for insurance. And I need her to fulfill my animal lust. Don't worry, Mom. I won't turn into another Jack the Ripper once I get to Europe. I've already been there, done that. Though I must admit, killing lovely young ladies will be a difficult habit to break. But I suppose with the millions of dollars you will be providing me, perhaps I can find a new hobby.
This is a CRZY News Bulletin. An abandoned warehouse in the old industrial district on the far north end of Murgatroyd was raided by police tonight, and evidence was discovered which confirms that kidnapped CEO Judy Vincini was indeed held captive there during the past 2 weeks. There was no one present in the building at the time Lieutenant Skitters conducted the raid, but evidence points to the involvement of at least one female kidnapper whose identity is being withheld at present pending further investigation. In other news, Vincini stock continues to plummet as the CEO remains missing. And next week at Quentin Memorial Stadium, Uncle Frank will be performing his new hit Just Over Broke to a packed audience, and ticket sales are brisk and are estimated to completely sell out within the next 24 hours. In local weather, the CRZY roving helicopter observes mild but cloudy conditions over the coming weekend and early next week.
Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Whether or not you believe in the weather or not, the eyes have it. Yes, at CRZY Roving Weather Helicopter, we're watching for when it's cloudy. We're watching for when it's cold, and we're watching for when it's raining. Every little change in the weather will be reported to you the minute we find out about it. From the CRZY Roving Weather Helicopter. Whether or not you believe in the weather or not, the eyes have it. Yes, the eyes of our weather watchers are always watching. So you tune in to CRZY TV or CRZY Radio for the latest weather update every day.
Skitters returning your call. Uncle Frank, you left a message indicating that you might have a tip, some information concerning the Judy Vincini kidnapping case.
Thank you, Lieutenant Skitters. This is Uncle Frank. All what I seen might not amount to a hill of beans, might not mean a thing, but I was down there, to the Super Deluxe grocery store the other night, where I shop all the time. And there's this gal in line in front of me, and she's a good-looking woman, too, but about half her face was covered up with some kind of little old mask or a veil or something or another, and she's wearing these long red gloves. And you know how unusual that is, seeing anybody with them long red gloves out shopping and all. And she just got upset and had a hissy fit when I was buying my wife Aunt Suki a bottle of that Slidette 3 cologne, and she just went off on how awful Judy Vincini was and how awful the company was and everything else. And she said Judy Vincini's number is up and something about karma and I don't know what all, and she just acted strange and got mad and just stormed out of there and just left there, and I didn't think anything of it. But then I listened to a lot of these call-in talk shows, and I remembered running into her before down there to the Super Deluxe, and we had talked before in line and all, and she was in a good mood that time. She recognized my voice from calling into those talk shows and all, and I recognized her, and of course she's talking about her face, getting damaged and all by that. You might remember that, the acid in the Vincini face cream and all a few years ago, when they had them Senate hearings and all this and that. So anyways, I got to thinking about it, and that old gal might have had something to do with that kidnapping. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. Now, I don't know what her name was. I didn't catch her name. But she's a tall, good-looking woman and all, and said something about you used to have a modeling career and what have you, and she had long, I believe her hair was brunette. Anyhow, I hope that helps, Lieutenant Skitters. If you need anything else, you've got my number, and just call me. Thank you. Thank you.
God. That evil rich bitch somehow escaped and the cops descended on the warehouse. Glad I wasn't there when it went down. But nobody seems to know where she is. The news reports have her still missing and held. What the hell is going on? Lieutenant Skitters, what a dreadful creep, has somehow figured out that there was a female kidnapper involved, but I can't be sure how much more he knows. I can't go anywhere near that warehouse anytime soon, but I was careful not to leave any prints behind there. This could be a blessing in disguise in a certain sense. Since Judy Vincini wasn't there either when they raided the warehouse, she can't tell them who I am. The only explanation that makes any kind of sense at all is that someone figured out she was there and then they are now holding her. This means they will try to make a play for that ransom money. What to do, what to do? Well, one thing is for certain, there is no reason for me to stick around Murgatroyd. Even though I haven't yet been officially identified as a potential suspect by Lieutenant Skitters, it could still happen. There is one person in Murgatroyd who stood beside me as a close friend through the whole ordeal with my face being scarred. He hasn't seen me in years, but I have been following his career closely. I suppose it is time to pay him a visit. Maybe stay with him for a while. Maybe even travel with him to Europe where he sometimes exhibits some of his works and has even sold a few.
I can't believe it's you. Oh my goodness, it's been so long since I've seen you. Where the hell have you been? I'm sure you've been seeing how that bitch, Imogene Slakowski, now Imogene Slakowski-Tomac, after her wedding to that sleazy reporter, was dissing my art left and right. And I'm sure you saw my Images of Imogene exhibit. Huh. I guess I gave it to that bitch. But anyway, enough about it. You absolutely must stay here for a few days. I am getting bored to death. And I want you to accompany me to Europe. You will be my friend when I go pay a little special visit to Count Pedestrian, who unceremoniously kicked me out of his mansion here in Murgatroyd. I'm going to rub it in his nose, that vile lecher. At any rate, I hear Europe is so wonderful this time of year. Perhaps we should stop in Paris, France first, and then we can gallivant around Europe and have some fun. I'm just so glad.
Murgatroyd is the man who can rebuild America. A man for the people, a man willing to protect the people and to protect past history from the tampering of time travelers. A man who wants to protect humanity from subhuman degenerates like artificially created life forms such as the wooden creature and Flashy the paper doll. If you vote to elect Senator Devane as your next president, you will not only be protecting Murgatroyd, you will be protecting American society and humanity itself. Senator Devane for president. The man who can protect
along with Flashy the paper doll, escaped through a time-flux energy field somehow generated by some kind of device, a time travel device. I want you to listen to me, people. People, this device poses a grave threat to humanity. This country, this world. And this device tampers with the natural flow of time. It is, in fact, an energy time flux device, and the intelligence that's been developed on it, I'm going to convene a Senate hearing into this device. Because you see, my fellow citizens, this device threatens the very integrity of your own existence and the very integrity of this timeline.
off we go on our great European adventure. Oh Eric, I might be blind, but flying on a private jet for the first time is an experience I will never forget. Gosh, I only wish I could actually see the Big Ben in London or the Eiffel Tower in Paris, but I guess just hearing things will have to do. Your cousin Elaine from Toledo is absolutely adorable. And taking us on this vacation is such a sweet, kind thing for her to do. Oh Eric, we are so very, very lucky. I just might have such a great time that I never want to go back to Murgatroyd. Hi 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 hi.
Oh, my dear Doreen. I might feel the same way. I might find Europe so exciting that I never want to go back to Murgatroyd either. Of course, I've already done a little cutting up in London, but that was a different time. Way back in the day, as they say. Oh, yes, you're right about my dear sweet relative there. She's quite generous, and she can be extremely generous if the circumstances demand it. It's going to be so interesting to eat. To eat all this wonderful European food, to dine in such exquisite surroundings. Yes, indeed. You might not be able to see the Big Ben in London or the Eiffel Tower in Paris, but I'll describe them to you, my dear. We're going to have the time of our lives, and meeting Count Pedestrian and staying in one of Count Pedestrian's wonderful castles is certainly going to be such an exciting experience. What can I say? A once-in-a-lifetime getaway? Europe, here I come.
We go on our great European adventure. Oh Eric, I might be blind, but flying on a private jet for the first time is an experience I will never forget. Gosh, I only wish I could actually see the Big Ben in London or the Eiffel Tower in Paris, but I guess just hearing things will have to do. Your cousin Elaine from Toledo is absolutely adorable. And taking us on this vacation is such a sweet, kind thing for her to do. Oh Eric, we are so very, very lucky. I just might have such a great time that I never want to go back to Murgatroyd. Hi 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 hi.
Oh, my dear Doreen. I might feel the same way. I might find Europe so exciting that I never want to go back to Murgatroyd either. Of course, I've already done a little cutting up in London, but that was a different time. Way back in the day, as they say. Oh, yes, you're right about my dear sweet relative there. She's quite generous, and she can be extremely generous if the circumstances demand it. It's going to be so interesting to eat. to eat all this wonderful European food, to dine in such exquisite surroundings. Yes, indeed. You might not be able to see the Big Ben in London or the Eiffel Tower in Paris, but I'll describe them to you, my dear. We're going to have the time of our lives, and meeting Count Pedestrian and staying in one of Count Pedestrian's wonderful castles is certainly going to be such an exciting experience. What can I say? A once-in-a-lifetime getaway? Europe, here I come. Welcome to Opinion Radio, where you can call in with your opinions.
Welcome to our show today, this week's edition of Opinion Radio, with your host Julietta Sidestepper. Call in your opinion about anything, any idea, any subject. This is where you can voice your opinion. And we have a caller on the line.
Hello, dear Julietta. It's Uncle Frank here. I was going to tell you about something kind of strange, kind of unusual and all that happened to me. You know, I live out there in the woods between Flat Town and Murgatroyd, you know, and all like that. Sometimes I got chickens out in the backyard, and I'll go out there in the woods, you know, and my shotgun, if I hear something, you know, like a coyote or wolf or whatever, you know what I mean. And there's this little old creek that runs between the Vincini Cosmetic Corporation and that their biotech lab and all down there. Anyhow, I've seen some weird stuff out there, and I called one time and kind of talked about it, but something really odd that happened the other day. I was out there close to that creek, and I seen this little old thing kind of slither up close to me. What I thought it was a snake and all. It looked like a snake, you know, and I didn't know exactly what it was. And it looked straight up at me, and it talked to me. It said, "Hello, how are you?" I'm not used to seeing some kind of a snake talk to me at all, and they just kind of, I didn't know what to do about it. I don't want to tell Aunt Suki because she's scared to death of snakes. She'd be wanting to move if she knew it was out there behind us. So anyhow, I got in, you know, and got on Google and all, and looked up on the internet, and it turned out it was an eel. You know, it wasn't a snake; it was an eel. But anyway, this little old thing, it talked to me, and that's the kind of weird stuff that's going on. Those old chemicals going down there at the biotech lab, and there ain't no telling what else is out there in the woods. You know, I've seen some weird stuff I ain't even gonna repeat. You know, but I just thought I'd pass that along there to the listeners, Julietta. Thank you. Thank you.
Blatson, but I assure you the pleasure is all mine. I really needed a little spot to get away from it all, so to speak, and in a few days when we go to Europe that will even help me clear my mind even more. I am just afraid that you may not get the kind reception that you might like from Count Pedestrian with his elitist mentality. I will never forget a few years ago when I first started out as a model. I was at a party and Count Pedestrian and Judy Vincini were playing a little game with some of the other snobs there to see who could throw their ice cube into the punch bowl. Sort of a snob variation on the game of horseshoes, I guess. My impression of Count Pedestrian at that time was that he was a cross between pathetic and diabolical. And that can be a very dangerous combination. I might also add that the description also fits Judy Vincini very appropriately, and just look what happened to my face along with thousands of other women, and that rich bitch got away with it.
Oh, my dear Sharon. Believe me, I still have Count Pedestrian right around my finger. I can use that poor pathetic bastard to do anything I ask him. And when I'm done with him, he'll be more than happy to have you and I both as guests in any of his many illustrious castles or mansions throughout Europe. I can only imagine he and Judy Vincini tossing ice cubes toward a punch bowl. That must have been hilarious. How on earth did you contain yourself? But yes, he has that elitist mentality. He has these delusions of one day ruling the world. I think he thinks Senator Devane will be his puppet here in the United States. As I say, the man has these grandiose schemes. What can I say? In a way, it's sort of a blessing in disguise, I guess, that he kicked me out of the mansion, because now here I am at the studio pursuing my art career, and who knows what other doors will open. Yes. A European vacation is exactly what you and I both need, and paying a little visit to the dear Count will add a little excitement to all of our worlds. Now, won't it, my dear Sharon? Were beginning to disappear, and its deep-seated superiority complex was beginning to resurface. When the band emaciated Butterfly got a gig on a cruise ship on a big Caribbean cruise, it was Floyd's great opportunity to do his solo. He'd worked in practice for 2 weeks. The captain and Tennille were going to play backup, and Edie Gourmet was going to sing a duet with him just before he performed his solo. But then at the last minute, not feeling very well, possibly from something she'd eaten on the ship, Edie Gourmet came to him, and Edie said, "Floyd, the song is off. The captain has left the ship. I don't guess we're going to be performing tonight." Floyd was crushed. His solo career was not going to take place that night because the captain and Tennille had already left the ship. So, there, docked at Hong Kong, Floyd went into a deep-seated depression. It would be ages before he was to shake himself from this depression. In the meantime, the other band members, emaciated Butterfly, attempted to cheer him up by releasing a song that was dedicated to him. But Lloyd laughed out at all of them, and he took the song as a meaning insult instead of the compliment for which it was intended. He thought it was an aspersion cast against him, referring to all the media rumors that he had a man crush on one of the other band members. But the song, Floydy, Floydy, Floyd, still became a top 40 #1 hit. Floydy, 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 Floyd, Floyd, my boy, you will always be my boy. Floyd, 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 till the sun turns into soy. Floyd, my boy, till the moon turns to bok choy. Floyd, 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 Floydy, 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 Floyd, Floyd, my boy, you will always be my boy. Floyd, 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 though it sometimes seems to annoy you, I know it will not destroy you. Floyd, 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 Floydy, 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 Floyd, Floyd, my boy, you'll forever be my boy. Floyd, 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 till the sun turns into soy. Floyd, my boy, till the moon turns to bok choy, 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 Floyd, 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 Floyd.
Pedestrian, I called you on your private line to let you know that we have all taken off on my private jet and should be arriving at the main castle in a few hours. My son Eric and his friend Doreen, she is blind of course, but I am absolutely certain that this will be an exciting trip for them, a getaway vacation of sorts. After recent weeks, I can definitely use a little vacation myself. Again, I want to thank you in advance for your hospitality and having us as your
Yes, the pleasure will be all mine. I look forward to having you, my dear, and your son Eric and his girlfriend here as a guest at the Pomeroy Castle. I'm glad that you're coming on a private Vincini jet. You can land on the strip right behind the main castle. I am here at my Pomeroy residence, the Pomeroy Castle tonight. We shall all have a wonderful dinner, I am sure. Two of you, all of you, will be tired from your long flight, and after a wonderful dinner tonight and some wonderful conversation and wine, and I'm sure Judy, that both you and your son Eric and his girlfriend Doreen will all wish to retire. We do have some other guests arriving in a few days. I think you may be familiar with Blatson, the artist. He has a girlfriend of some sort he's going to be bringing along with him, but they won't be here for a few days. So that will give you and your son Eric and his girlfriend Doreen time to settle in and become familiar with the castle. And again, Judy Vincini, it's going to be a pleasure having you here as a guest. And I trust your flight will be safe, and I look forward to your arrival in a few hours. Good evening, Judy. I'll see you very, very soon.
Well now, it's Mr. Chadson Masterson. I understand you're having this generalized, free-floating anxiety. It's plaguing you that you're suffering from. And I'd like for you to do, if you could please, is to explain to me in detail how this generalized free-floating anxiety manifests itself. Just explain to me exactly what you're experiencing during the day, please. Well, Doc, it's like this. You know, when I'm about to leave the apartment and all, and I get worried, you know, that maybe there's somebody standing outside the door or something that's going to, like, jump me or attack me or mug me or kill me or something like this or whatever. So finally, when I get my apartment door open, and then I look down the stairs and I think, oh, geez, what if I slipped and fell and broke my neck or whatever? I mean, what if I was to fall on the way down the stairs? And so I grab a hold of the banister and I just slowly walk down. And I finally, when I get down to the front door, then I look both sides of the lobby. I think, what if there's some mugger here that's going to jump me, some stranger that's going to attack me or whatever? So finally, when I see that the coast is clear and maybe that the maid didn't accidentally, you know, forget to dry the floor after she mopped it. I mean, I could slip and fall and break my neck in the lobby too, you know, of course. But anyway, once I succeed in getting out the front door of the apartment building, then I look both ways because I know there could be someone there that's going to, like, attack me or mug me or kill me or rape me or rob me or whatever, you know. And so I look both ways just to make sure the coast is clear. And then finally I have to debate crossing the street. I mean, I don't see anything coming left or right, but I mean, what if a car suddenly careened at 70 miles an hour out of nowhere and was just strike me dead, you know, hit and run, splat, there I am lying on the sidewalk dead. And so I have to think a long time. And then I just slowly, carefully, gradually walk across from one side of the street to the other. And then once I make it over to the other side, and then I look both ways again to make sure everything's clear on the sidewalk. It's just sort of a free-floating anxiety. I worry, I'm nervous, I'm scared, I'm worried, I'm nervous. You know, it's just an all-day thing. It's 24/7. You know, even at night I have these dreams. There's these dreams. I just have these dreams. And of course, I'm terrified of cabs and terrified of subways. I mean, who knows what kind of disease you could catch. I look up these tall buildings and I think, oh my God, what if a terrorist strikes again? This new stadium they built, the Quint Memorial Stadium. A friend of mine called me. They had free tickets to a Murgatroyd Players game. I was afraid to go. I mean, I thought, what if somebody yells fire and then everybody in the stadium starts to panic and run and I get trampled or whatever? I could get trampled to death right there in Quint Memorial Stadium. I mean, you know, I can't help but think about these things. I think about these things. Doc, I hope you can help me. Please help me, Dr. Derrickson. Please help me. Judy Vincini, I am so glad that all of you had a very, very safe journey, that the flight was safe, and that you have arrived here safely at my primary castle. I trust that you all tired from your long journey. Go into the dining room. Caprice here, my butler, will take all of your luggage. I have assigned each of you a room. Judy, you will have your own magnificent suite, and your son Eric and his lovely fiancée Doreen, they will also have a suite next to yours. Caprice will take all of you down to the main dining room where we will dine by candlelight to a very elegant dinner. While you're here, all of the maids and servants will be at your disposal. They will be at your service, at your beck and call. So, I, Count Pedestrian, welcome all of you to my castle. Consider yourself at home.
I cannot tell you how much we all appreciate being your guests here. This is an absolute palace, as my father often told me. And this dinner here is exquisite, as is this vintage wine. You are a man of impeccable tastes, Count Pedestrian, and we are honored to be your guests.
Yes, Mom's right. You've got quite a place here, Count Pedestrian, and we're all very grateful to be here. Why, a guy could get lost in this big place. You hear that, Doreen? My fiancée is blind. Wouldn't want her bumping around in the castle at night getting lost now, would we? I'm sure she'll be staying with me, of course, but I'm going to be enjoying this place enormously. Again, Count Pedestrian. Just like Mom said, I just love this huge, gigantic place. Hey, Suki, I got something I gotta tell you and all. I want you to remain calm and don't get upset and don't get scared and none of that because of your nervous condition and all. I hadn't said anything the past few days, but you hadn't felt good. You've been staying inside, so you hadn't been out in the backyard. So before you go out there, I'm just trying to give you a little bit of warning now. Like I said, just stay calm. Don't let it rattle your cage and all. Well, anyhow, what I'm trying to get at is that foot of Flashy's foot out there, well, it done growed. At first it growed a calf, so then it was just about a half leg, and that was just a few days ago and all, and now it was a full leg, yesterday. Now there's 2 legs out there. And last time I looked, it was upside down, just sticking out of the ground. I don't know if they're taking a nap or what. I don't know if paper doll legs have to sleep or what. And of course, they don't eat anything. I mean, legs can't eat. At least I've never seen legs eat. And all, I guess they must just be absorbing energy through osmosis or what have you. Anyhow, they're not bothering anybody. They're just still out there in the backyard and all. And chickens, of course, are scared of them. It's to be expected. But they're not bothering the cat. I don't think the cat knows what to make of them. And the dog just sits and stares at them. They just, neither the cat or dog, neither one's afraid of them. I'm not afraid of them either. I mean, what are a couple of legs going to do? Run from me, try to kick me? Anyhow, it's Flashy's legs out there now, so just listen. Don't let it upset you. As long as we don't have some old nosy neighbor with a pair of binoculars, then we're not going to have any issues out of this. Now, I don't know when they'll stop growing if they do. Heck, they might grow into another Flashy out there in the backyard, and then I'm really going to have to contact that biotech lab and all. I ain't going back down there, though, after I've seen all them Secret Service and FBI and all that around the place there. I told you about that old eel the other day that talked to me that's out in the woods. I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on down there at that biotech lab, but I ain't trying to find out. Anyhow, we're just going to keep these legs out here in the backyard, and I'm just letting you know, Aunt Suki, so you don't have a heart attack or a nervous breakdown and all. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Doreen. Such a shame that you're blind. You can't enjoy this beautiful artwork that Count Pedestrian III has adorned his castle with. Our room is wonderful. What a magnificent suite it is. It's such a comfortable bed, my dear, but you must allow me. You know how I like to roam at night. And you, my dear, being blind, will have to accompany me while I explore this castle. Just look at the magnificent paintings on the wall. Of course, you can't see them, my dear, being blind. I'm so sorry. At any rate, these are works from all over Europe. Yes, our dear host, Count Pedestrian III, inherited these magnificent works of art from his father, Count Pedestrian II, who stole these European treasures from all over Europe during World War II. You're seeing priceless pieces of art. Nothing like that trash our local Blatzenbeck and Murgatroyd puts out. My dear, there's secret rooms all over this place, behind bookcases. Why, anyone could hide out indefinitely in this castle. Probably more than 200 rooms. What a magnificent place. Yes. I enjoy being a guest in the castle of Count Pedestrian III. Of course, you know, we will from time to time still have to take an evening stroll away from the castle. Wonder if there's any innocent young damsels in the villages nearby. Oh, well, you wouldn't know what I mean by that, Doreen. Perhaps we shall just relax here. Though the Count was quite clear that in a few days there are some more guests arriving. I wonder who they might be. Well, it shall be interesting to meet and encounter the new guests when they arrive.